Hello, students. Are we ready for the next one? I have a feeling that you guys can do it on your own, right? But it's okay. Let's do it together. Let's read it. It says, a square table has an area of x squared minus 16x plus 64 square centimeters. Which expression in factor form represents the area of the table? So we're talking about the top of the picture, right? So let's underline what's important for us. Well, first of all, we know that it's a square. What do you guys know about a square? Or equal size, right? Okay, keep that in mind. It might come in handy later on. So what else do I know? Well, I know that the area, it's the following expression, right? And they're asking me to find what? The factors, right? So let's see if we remember how to find factors. So underline the word factor form, because that's what I'm looking for, right? Okay, so first of all, let's rewrite my expression. So I'm going to write down x squared minus 16x plus 64. Right below that, I want you to write down the standard form. So I'm going to write down ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay? So remember that that's going to help us identify A, B, and C. So let's write down over here A, B, and C. Let's see if you remember who's A. Well, I know what you're thinking. Miss, there's no number next to the x squared. Well, we always write down the number 1 when there's no number, right? Therefore, A will be a 1. B will be what? Are we having trouble to identify that? So maybe it can help us if we highlight the B and the number that is right above that. Is that right? Okay, so B is what number? Now it makes things easier, right? It's a negative 16. And C will be, yes, it's going to be your 64. So let's write down 64 right here. Okay, so A, let's go ahead and highlight A. So yes, it is a 1. So here we put A, highlight that one. Let's highlight B with the same color. And the last one was C, which is right here. So what I need to do next is I need to do my X and my table, right? So let me give you a couple of seconds for you guys to do it. Let's continue. So on my X, I need to find the product for A times C, right? Which will be a 64. And opposite of that, it's my B, which is a negative 16. On the lower case, I need to write my A's, right? Who's my A? 1. Very good. And of course, the headache for all of us, right, is how do I find those numbers that goes on the empty spaces? Luckily, we have the table. So let's start with the table. I need to find the product for 64 and the sum for negative 16. So let's write down the words. I like writing the words because in that way, you guys will know what are you supposed to be doing. Sorry about product, kind of got to be squeezed over there. So that's product and sum. Let's start with the very first numbers that I have. Okay, so first of all, I know that I can multiply 1 times 64, and that gives me 64, right? Since my answer is positive, I also know that if I multiply two negative numbers, I still get a positive number. So I'm placing both of them as negatives. Very good. How about 2? It's 2 a factor of 64? Yes, it is, right? 2 times 32 gives me 64. And again, I need to write it down again, but now with negative numbers. And I still get a positive 64. How about 3? Can 3 be a factor for 64? No, right? Not a whole number. How about 4? So 4 times 16 gives you 64, right? But also negative 4 times negative 16 gives you 64. Sorry, positive 64, right? Okay, how about 5? No, right? How about 6? 6 times something? 7? 8? I hope you say 8 times 8. So I do get 64. And again, negative 8 times another negative 8 gives me a positive 64. So I'm done because I noticed that my two numbers way on the bottom are already next to each other. 8, 8, right? They're the same number, so I'm done with the factors. Let's move to the right. So on the right, I'm going to need to add up my numbers so that I can see if I get a negative 16, right? So I get a 65. What about the next one? Well, I get a negative 65, right? Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. How about the next one? 2 plus 32 gives me a positive 34. So nope, that's not what I want. Now I'm going to add up the same factors but with negative signs. So 34 is still there, but it's a negative 34. So no, we have no luck so far, right? Let's move on to the next one. What about 4 plus 16? What's that? Yes, it is a positive 20, right? But that's not what I need. Let's add up my negative numbers now. And I get a negative 20. So I'm not there yet, right? What about the next one? 8 plus 8. What do I get? Positive 16. And please don't tell me, Miss, that's the answer. That's not the answer. I don't want a positive 16. I want a negative 16. But luckily for us, we have them right here. Negative 8 plus negative 8 gives me a negative 16. And what do we say at this point? Bingo, right? That's what I was looking for. So I needed a positive 64 and a negative 16. So these are my factors that I need. Okay? So what do we do next? Yes, we need to write down those factors on the empty spaces. So let's write them down. Negative 8 and negative 8. Can I simplify any of those numbers, guys? No, right? But that's the first question you need to ask before giving me the factors. And now remember that the a, which is my coefficient, is the one who carries the x, or my variable. So let's highlight my factors. Remember, what I'm highlighting is actually what we're going to write down as my answers, right? So let's do this. So my factor will be 1x minus 8. Second factor will be 1x minus 8. And I know what you're going to ask me to do. Rewrite it, right? Yes, let's rewrite it because coefficient of 1 is not needed. And I'm going to give you a question right now. Do you see those answers on the answer choices? No, right? So please hold on. Don't panic. It's not that we did it wrong. It's just that it's written a different way. So my next question will be, how many x minus 2 do you see here? There's 2, right? So there's another way that I can rewrite my answer. If you recall exponents, since I have 2 of the same terms, right? My same binomials, then I can actually raise it to the second power. Very good. Therefore, my answer, yes, it is going to be letter C. Awesome. So we're going to review a little bit on exponents.